Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know. We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is about administrative bloating. Might what one considers bloating to be only secure in one's mind as what fits financial parameters. Considering the topic connects to a very important question that receives clear defining in a good dictionary. What is a school? When navigating how one may progress through academic parameters, through what one may consider as non-traditional schooling, one may navigate a strong reality of what one might be subscribing to when one enrolls in an educational atmosphere. What one may be subscribing to may bring one to question whether a particular route of learning, a particular school, is of parameters under question that relate to administrative bloating. And I think engaging with what non-traditional schooling may mean for an individual is extremely important in navigating how funding may be operating. Understanding what parameters of funding may exist for a particular area of education may be helpful. Though I wonder if navigating how approaching funding in general in connection with purposes of educating may prove for individuals through traditional as well as non-traditional parameters of schooling. Why might an individual that obtains a GED, though not every state may provide similar access to a GED, why does that individual prove more successful through academic parameters than an individual that goes through traditional, quote unquote, forms of schooling from primary, secondary, through university, though does not perform as well as an individual that may have very different experiences that are beneficial and valuable, though obtains a GED, succeeds well through academic parameters. When considering an educational environment and funding, I think about these types of connections because of the weight extracurricular activities may prove beneficially for an educational environment. Opportunity to excel differently is extremely valuable. Even considering individuals may have interest personally following the interests of personal volition wonderfully, which may mesh well with extracurricular activities at school and or outside of an educational atmosphere, or in an educational atmosphere that may be of a different tier. So perhaps what is available and valuable earlier on may not be available, though still valuable, later on in a particular educational atmosphere. So what schooling is one subscribing to? If one is seeking only to go to school for not one thing else other than class, perhaps to socialize, though not to engage with extracurricular activities, then is attending a school with many extracurricular activities necessary? Does a school offering no or little or fewer extracurricular activities than another educational environment deserve to receive as much funding if not having as many routes to success than another educational entity? Might one be able to be successful in an extracurricular activity outside of an educational environment? Yes. So, is funding to address whether an educational environment needs recreational activities, extracurricular activities, or if funding needs to address what is external to an educational environment. These conversations connect to corporatizing education, though communalizing education and bringing about understandings of finances that may extremely benefit individuals with different organization. So what might consider parameters of schooling one may want to subscribe to? One's intentions, one's goals, what may be of one's awareness, what long-term considerations are in effect more so than short-term immediate considerations when considering funding, when considering choosing a particular school. When choosing in an educational environment, one needs to attend to many different understandings because every educational environment may offer differently. Even if in the same district, competition exists. How does the competition look for the people subscribing to the school? It's a very important question to assess. So when observing administrative bloating, assessing these questions may allow for one to navigate bigger than what may be apparent, because people do succeed in non-traditional forms. And when I say non-traditional, the reality is the forms already exist. The forms are technically traditional, though perhaps not as popularly of individuals' awareness. So one may garner much success alongside of what appears to be corporatizing education versus communalizing good growths through educating parameters. What is school? What type of school will one choose to subscribe to? Engages with how funding operates. So much consideration is necessary for better navigating such parameters. Our next topic: how might employees engage with students, with mentees? How might employers create systems to better engage with schools? I mentioned the first portion because the article mentions employers. I mentioned the first portion because there are layers of which individuals may navigate to assist one with incorporating skills, assist one with incorporating experiences, though not necessarily linear. When an employer offers opportunities such as internships for freshmen or sophomores in college, that's great. Hopefully individuals are seeking these opportunities and applying to grow through the opportunities, because having an opportunity to work with an entity in a way that allows for one to garner experience is extremely valuable, extremely important, especially if one is able to engage with the community of which the employer is helping to grow through interest of varying sorts, though of a common overall general interest beyond the intricacies and niches that may be. So when one is engaging such intricacies and niches of interest, one may understand how one may operate in a position, how one may grow within a company, especially considering how one may navigate skill-wise through a company, because an individual might have an interest in a particular skill that has somewhat of a linear trajectory, though one may be able to grow and expand in different ways as one learns more of industry, of the company, though the awareness of what is possible with an employer is extremely valuable. Now, building awareness of the ever-progressing interdependent reality is not only a responsibility of what a school may offer, though of what may happen in the middle grounds, in the spaces at home, the spaces in between home and everywhere else. Of course, one knows one's mind. So the article is bringing about a very important topic. Of course, one way to assess similarly is through CTE. The article wonders, engaging, how might one be able to have employers gravitate to these types of relationships? Realistically, the possibilities are very apparent, though reality shows the way individuals may approach work as well as approach parameters of school may simply be different because of how socially those environments may be. So, creating a wonderful gap, a wonderfully spiraling form of relationship building will greatly allow for employers to reconnect with communities, especially growing communities, in ways that may prove beneficial for them, as well as offer opportunity for credentialing, becoming more aware, working for the employer as well as the person that may receive the opportunity, which I consider the employer receiving the opportunity because one may engage with what the employer offers, then figure out, cool to know, I like it this much really, and proceed in a different direction. That may be extremely valuable for that individual to be aware of earlier on than later on, especially if with a particular entity. So I think the employer educational parameter relation building is extremely valuable. Again, the idea that is very apparent is with CTE, with having in-school programs that allow individuals the opportunities to learn about what's going on industry-wise, see where interest may be, and navigating toward how one may grow through college or through another credentialing form to be of a particular industry as a contributor, as a benefactor. And I really think the other portion is employers engaging with the universities of the area as well as the universities engaging with the K through 12, because community growth is going to be extremely valuable for having systems of the sort to thrive, and ensuring to have these types of relationships keeps doors not only growing, though expanding, increasing in quantity, because what is happening with the building is an expansion respecting community that really allows for different areas of growth. Again, as per our earlier question, we must engage in the question of what is school? Many of these types of questions allow for one to better navigate what one may be seeking to subscribe to. All right, let's get into some origami. So today we're going to be making an Origami Flamingo. I'm starting off with a square. I'm gonna fold it edge to edge. Then point to point. Okay. Next, we're going to bring this point to point in edge to edge folding to the diamond form. So you may notice that folding to the diamond form is a lot easier. You'll fold along the point-to-point folds. If you ever want the triangle one, then you'll fold along the edge-to-edge fold. So we're going to get into our diamond. Next, we're gonna make sure to fold the point that has the close end. We want that point to be facing up. Okay, we're gonna fold in, and the reason why that's important is if you get into these types of folds, you'll learn that you'll have to have one point open. The bird fold usually has the close end at the top, pointing toward the ceiling. Okay, so we're just going to be folding them in like this. And I'm folding to both sides right now. If you look at the instructions, it'll do it side by side. But I'm doing it this way, so when I get to this point, I just flap over the top very easily. And then I will bring it up. So I did it facing myself. I'll do it again, but we're just going to bring it up, and then we're just going to create a longer diamond now. Before we had a very strong, short diamond. Now we're going to have a long, strong diamond. Okay, so we're just going to bring it open. So just going to open it up, and we use the fold from that flap. We just use it, and then we just turn it. Here we have it. Voila. We still want to make sure that we have the inside arrow pointing up. Next, we're going to fold in. We're going to fold again. This fold, if you do any other design, will determine how big or wide your bird may be. So this is where one may be able to assess the measurements of one's bird. Like a crane, for example. Sometimes you'll note that you can complete an origami with less folds, even more folds. Okay, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna also fold it. We're gonna fold one other side in again right now. Now after we fold this side in, we're gonna, you see how that one is about, we fold it in, it's halfway almost, half the size. Now we're gonna turn it over, so we're gonna fold on the same side. And you'll see that they'll be basically back to back. Okay. Now, after you have this fold, you have them both here. You're gonna just take one side now. You're gonna take one side and you're just gonna bring it over as so. Okay. And we're gonna have actually a fold, an upfold here. So what's gonna happen I'm gonna make it a bit non-traditional here. So we have this up fold here, and I'm gonna look at the instructions quickly while I'm here with you to double check. You can find the instructions in the YouTube video in the informational portion of the video. Okay, so right on. So after folding this portion, we're gonna have to fold up. We're gonna fold up here. So you can see we folded again after we make those real thin pieces here. We're just gonna fold that one side over it, and then we're gonna fold this one side up. Okay. Now from here, there's an interesting fold that happens, and it's just going back over. So we're just gonna fold it. See this? So we folded it up, then we're just gonna fold it over. Alrighty. Next, we're gonna just open it. So you see we opened it. We're just gonna bring this portion out. Okay. And from here, we'll be able to make our flamingo head. And we can bring down the wings now. With wings, you can design them however you choose. As you get to your design, you can give some extra fold in them if you so choose. You can bring them here. They can stay down a little bit more. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just bend a little bit for the foot. Okay. Then we get that angle. So just get this fold to open up here. The foot area is kind of thick, so you can fold it up here as best you can. And voila, you have a flamingo. Okay, ta-da! And of course, well, you can have the flamingo in wherever you please. Pretty nice decoration, I think. I appreciate reading physical books. And when one reads a physical book, one greatly benefits. One's brain physically changes. Long-term health benefits from reading a physical book. The text we're going to talk about today is The Complete Idiot's Guide. Enhancing sexual desires. And I appreciate the text engaging with the term through the text, the term being enhancing. The term is flowing through the text to note it's okay to learn to improve desiring in one's relationship. How one may do so may differ. You may already know a few areas that are wonderful for desiring in your relationship. Here are a few more areas to assess, especially considering how one's life changes through time, through experiences, the text is noting these particular possibilities of change, as well as contributing to how individuals may continue to appreciate each other in healthy ways, even considering emotional changes. So the text is not simply a book of practical methods, though scientific understandings of what may be emotionally, what may be mentally, what may be spiritually, what may be physically. So one may better acknowledge these parameters, considering what else may be possible to enhance not only the areas one may be familiar with, though, desiring beyond those areas, especially in consideration of other areas one may not be aware of. I appreciate reading the book. Reading the book is awesome to me because I love reading books that help me better understand parameters of health, especially considering so much science and so much more awareness. And I think the book is a wonderful addition for one seeking to further grow in relationships, as mindfully as one may be seeking to be a better, healthier, more aware, romantic life partner. Thanks for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward, Kevin Dufresne.